on screen, and he's partnered at 5/8 by that man, Steve Robinson, today. They were both born on the same day, back in '65. They played all their club football together and have not played any more than a couple of matches side by side since they played ball, SG ball, for Penrith. Long time since this man played SG ball, Mark Levy, but he's still playing mighty fine football. Greg McCallum is the referee. We're set for the action in the big game. Kick off by Levy is a well-rehearsed one. It mightn't have looked very smart, but it was well-rehearsed, and Penrith have come up with possession, so they get 10 out of 10 for planning and for execution. 13 for Penrith is Goodwin. Play just outside the Canterbury 22 line as Royce Simmons typifies the anxiety that probably is running fairly high in the minds of these Penrith players. They're playing before a big crowd, very big crowd, and of course percentages very much their way. And I think more than ever before they're expected to win this match, Penrith, by their fans. Penalty against Mortimer. He's getting down very close to Greg McCallum and asking what's the matter. And McCallum said, you put it in the second row. Levy taking the line finder. I've just got that feeling, Bill Anderson, as we welcome you into the commentary, that Penrith have, I think, got to get the first shot in.
They're having one of their best seasons, but Canterbury Bankstown have got some class players, and you've got to be wary of the wounded Bulldogs.
Ross Gigg playing it. Back to Greg Alexander, away for Simmons, who had a bit of a juggle then, and Goodwin takes it up. He's lean and rangy, this fellow, Goodwin, but gee, plays the game strong. Simmons now, dummies open, and it comes blind through Howell, back to Simmons, onto Alexander, and the cross bullet-like pass to Robinson, now to Izzard, playing out in the centres in number 4 jumper. And a penalty to Penrith. Penalty to Penrith against the Canterbury tacklers. Let's have a look and see what happened here. Izzard was tackled. He tried to get up and play the ball, and they decided to put him back on the ground, so it was a fair penalty and well given. A winless day. Well, there may be a zephyr coming down from behind Canterbury as Craig Connor plays the ball. Midfield, 22 line, Canterbury's end of the park. And this is Brad Waugh now, who is about to play it. Back to Simmons, and Simmons just dummies a little bit to one side and gives it back the other to Gary Howell, playing in the headgear. And now it's with Alexander, the run around for the captain and hooker Simmons, and Tunks went in with a swinging arm. I doubt that it found its mark, and it's been put in the air by Mark Levy. A great bomb, a tremendous bomb. It's a try, I think. Yes, sir! No, he's ruled no try. Well, Ross Gigg, I thought, had that ball, and all he had to do was fall on the ground. Here he is. Well, looking at it on that shot, it's impossible to tell what happened. Have we got another shot? Certainly have. NEC replay this time. Let's have another go. Ross Gigg coming on down with it. Well, I thought it was a fair try. The blind side is stacked. They've gone open to Mortimer and now to Lamb. Lamb beautifully taken by Robinson. Now Mullane gets out from dummy half. He gains about 5. And it's Brad Waugh who makes the tackle. He had no marker, so Mullane picks up another 7 or 8 metres. And that's 5 tackles gone now for the Bulldogs. And Canterbury will bomb here. It's with Mortimer, and there it goes. Pretty much up and down kick as Levy gets under it. He didn't have much pressure, and he's met and hit very hard by the Canterbury forwards of Langmack, Folkes and Johnston. Penalty to Penrith. Canterbury inside the 5.
The man with the ball now taking this line kick for Penrith. A very important part of their game plan. He's already kicked the ball twice, once in general play for a good gain, and one bomb which almost resulted in a try. And Mark Levy, how he fires today, is going to very well determine the outcome of the match.
Alexander away to Simmons. Simmons switching it back for the blind, and here's Matt Goodwin with it now, and he's held about 5 metres on his side of the halfway mark. Played back for Royce Simmons. He throws a little dummy and then gets a pass away that Goodwin was able to take through War. It's come to Howell, and Howell is up to the halfway line. A lot of passing, but they didn't go anywhere. Played by the big second row forward, and it's gone out from Alexander to Fenton, and Fenton out very wide is tackled near the halfway line. To the blind for Levy. He puts in the torpedo punt looking for touch, but it's gone out on the full, and it'll be a scrum back on the Penrith side of halfway. Hooker's success rate there for you. Simmons just fractionally in front of Billy Johnston. And a very special, that pass from Lamb, look forward inside to Johnston. I was about to say a very warm welcome to our viewers right throughout Queensland, watching the Sydney League match of the day today at the time slot normally occupied by your own match out of Brisbane. But of course that was washed out, and that's the reason you're copying the NEC big game between Penrith and Canterbury. Delicate kick ahead by Terry Lamb, covered up by Mark Levy, and Levy will play the ball now. Inside his own 22 line, away from dummy half comes Ben Gonzalez, the third member of that young side I was telling you about, the SG Ball Penrith side that had Alexander and Robinson in it. Away it goes along the line, and Izzard has put it down. Oh, well, he might give the penalty. He might give a penalty try. What's he going to do? Steve Folkes was collared around the neck. He was pursuing the ball that he'd kicked through. See it? Crash. A penalty has to be given, the way I read it. No way he could have given a penalty try when you see it on the replay, but he must give a penalty to Canterbury Bankstown, one would think. Looked like Ross Gigg was the man that got him, and he's called the wrong guy out. Why they were talking to Gary Howell's got me beat, unless the touch judge was reporting something entirely different. But it was Ross Gigg that got Steve Folkes. The penalty's been given anyway. But unless that touch judge was making a report on another matter, they dead set have pinched the wrong player. Makes no difference, of course. Nobody was marched. So these clouds are thickening and darkening as Conlon prepares to take the first shot. He should get this, Conlon. Sweet, beautiful off the boot, beautiful in flight. And Canterbury Bankstown lead Penrith by 2 points to 0. You're watching the NEC big game from a crowded Penrith Park. Lamb, Brian Batiste coming up out wide. Mortimer across the paddock, turning it inside for his brother Chris. And Chris is to play at 10 metres into Penrith area. Billy Johnston. Now it's with Peter Tunks. And Tunks is eventually put to ground, but not before a fight. Mortimer, Lamb. Langmack giving it back to Steve Mortimer. Canterbury running plenty of crosses. Johnston, the pass was forward, I thought, to Batiste, and it's gone on now out to Peter Mortimer, and he's into touch. But I am not a regular critic of referees, but by Jove, Greg McCullum's made a couple of rulings here today that have had me offside with him.
Well, in that movement, they looked like there might have been 2 forward passes.
Well, I've got to say this, and I'm not anti-Canterbury in saying it, but I'm glad no try eventuated, because it looked like a blatant forward pass, and it's not the first we've seen in the match so far today. And add that to a disallowed try for Penrith, things aren't going all that brilliantly for the Panthers on the score of Lady Luck. However, that's only my opinion. And it's played by Craig Connor, and it's gone to Alexander. Now with Fenton. Warren Fenton. He's been around for a long time, but by Jove, when he retires, they'll nearly have to knight him up here. Alexander. And that's the punishment the little man has to take if he can't take the ball cleanly, as he didn't. This is Connor. Gary Howe. He's a good, strong runner, Howe. Came from Parramatta to Penrith, where he thought he might get a better go. And he is. And the kick from Alexander is a good one. He's found it midway between the 22 and halfway on the Canterbury end of the ground. Story I can tell about Gary Howe is once Jack Gibson was looking for a replacement. Parramatta were behind. He was looking for what he calls a bust man. And he asked his minor grade coaches at the time, Keith Clark and John Money, who's the best bust man we've got sitting on that bench down there, guy? And through the walkie-talkie came the reply, we've got a guy here called Howe. And he got the job, and he went on and he busted them all right. He ran 75 metres from memory to score. That's him in the headgear, and he's still very, very hard to contain in attack. So the tap is taken, and it's with Alexander. A wide ball for Simmons and a cut-out pass, and it's gone around the back for Goodwin. And he'll play it on the Canterbury 22 line. Simmons, he just jinks out of there, and now he goes himself. He's been setting himself up to do that, Royce, since this game started. Little dummies and little foil stooges, if you like, off the dummy half mark, and then he had a little go himself. Here's Connor. Craig Connor's about 5 or 6 metres out from the Canterbury line. Tackled by Billy Johnston and Brian Batiste. And from dummy half, here's Howe. There's the bus man. He's in to score. Gary Howe. Give him 5 metres to run. Put a brick wall in front of him and he'll go through it. Or at least he'll try to. And that was pretty fragile stuff from Canterbury to put it back in its right perspective. Let's see it again. Oh! Was there a hint of a knock-on at the dummy half? Well, Howe just went bang straight over the top of the Canterbury defence man.
It was a well-executed set move by Penrith. It took them 3 rucks to set forward, and then Howe became the receiver on a crisscross back to the blind side, and over he goes for the opening try of the game.
Terry Lamb was the man who went, well, you saw it again, just that little hint of a knock-on at the dummy half. Whether the ball was propelled towards the opponent's goal line, that is a matter for you to make up your opinion on.
I think it shows that Lady Luck evens out in the end.
Well, on top of what I said a few seconds back, yeah. The conversion, successful from Mark Levy. And Penrith lead Canterbury Bankstown by 6-2. This man is Brett Lobb. Gee, he's got that right thigh heavily strapped, hasn't he, Brett? Very heavily taped. Alexander throwing a long ball to Gig, and away it goes to Gonzalez. And Gonzalez is not held. He's just outside the 22 when tackled now.
Once again, Penrith showed us their willingness to move the ball in their own quarter. It almost cost them a try before when Braz Izzard dropped the ball and Steve Folkes gave chase and Canterbury came up with a penalty, but they're prepared to move the ball, and that's good, entertaining football.
Levy kicking wisely, getting it out of his own 22. Conlon to take it back, and he's tackled by Gig and Robinson. Crowd of 13,892. Potter, he'll be hard to beat. Inside the 22, kicks ahead. Oh, Mark Levy's marked it. Fielding a silly mid-on. Levy was fielding so close to the bat, and he was able to pull it off.
You saw the experience here of Mark Levy. He didn't commit himself. A lot of younger fullbacks would have come in to try and make a ball and all tackle and force Potter over the sideline. He waited until he knew Potter had nowhere to go except down the sideline. Potter elected to kick ahead and went straight into the arms of the waiting experienced fullback.
Benton. Simmons again.
Making some yardage from dummy half, Penrith, and that's an area that Canterbury are going to have to tidy up. They're starting to look a little tired.
Folkes diving on the loose ball. It's gone to ground, but backwards. And a penalty to Canterbury. That's against Penrith for stealing the ball. So
So Conlon has got this kick from about 30 metres out. He's about 15 metres in from touch. He's kicked 1 from 1. Wednesday night, National Panasonic Cup 4th quarter final is at Tamworth at Scully Park between Balmain and St George. And that should be a great day at Tamworth. Conlon, big kick. It's home easily for Ross Conlon. Scoreboard 6-4 in favour of the Panthers. Canterbury winning the scrum. Steve Mortimer trying to slide along the open side of the scrum, but he ran into a couple of blokes who were doing the right thing in breaking quickly, both the front rower and the second rower, and Steve Mortimer was parcelled up very quickly. Middle of the ground, just inside the 22. It's out to Steve Mortimer. Now it's Chris Mortimer. Short ball, picking up Michael Potter. Here goes Potter. He's up to the halfway and running free. Peter Mortimer takes it on. He turns it inside for Lamb. Oh, this has been a great try. This is a superb piece of work, culminating in a try for Canterbury. Some brilliant play there. Terry Lamb scoring his 14th try of the year. It started inside their own 22. Lamb handled once. Chris Mortimer gave the final ball perfectly for Michael Potter, who weaved his magic around the defence. Alexander had him. He committed Alexander almost. Then Peter Mortimer looked inside, and backing up was the ever-present Terry Lamb. And a good try to Canterbury Bankstown.
This try probably could have been stopped on a couple of occasions, but it was good play by Canterbury Bankstown. The initial break was made by Chris Mortimer, popping up a pass here to Potter. We can see he makes the break when the number 5, Ben Gonzalez, missed a tackle for Penrith. Alexander came across in cover and was able to clips Peter Mortimer on the heels. Mark Levy had committed himself, and the inside pass found Penrith short, and Terry Lamb goes over to equal to make the score now 8-6.
Almost in front is Ross Conlon, just a short kick for him, and he makes no mistakes. In fact, he very seldom does when it comes to goal kicking, and 10-6 is the score now in favour of the Canterbury Bankstown side. You're watching the NEC big game. Levy sending the ball down into the corner where Peter Mortimer is based. Touch in from the far side. Now, what's this all about? Chris Mortimer. Chris Mortimer. This was Chris carrying the ball. He's tackled there. And he's pulled the Penrith player. He's pulled his hair. He's given Penrith a penalty.
Not a good thing to do, first tackle in your own quarter and in possession of the ball.
Yeah, that's pretty dumb stuff. I'm just wondering what provoked Chris, because that certainly isn't part of his makeup. Takes me back in time to Russell Fairfax. It was a very contentious point when Russell was playing with those
long locks.
Yeah.
What a great player he was. One of the most exciting players to grace the field in the last 10 years, Russell.
The old-timers used to say, well, if they want to wear their hair long, you're entitled to pull it. Modern-day rugby league is a touch different. And Chris Mortimer just found that out. Mark Levy can bring Penrith back to within 2 points. With a difficult kick, he's 10 metres in and he's 18 out. He hits it and hooks it, and Conlon will bring it out. Conlon getting it out into the field of play. That's all that was required of him. And no change in the score. 10-6 in favour of the Bulldogs.
This is Brian Batiste, and he's made a half indentation in that Penrith line.
And good play by Mick Potter. He backed Batiste up. A lot of fullbacks like to make their breaks out wide. But Potter's one of those fullbacks that's prepared to come in around the rucks and do a lot of the hard work.
Robinson took a very heavy hit there from a couple of enthusiastic Penrith defencemen. Here they come back to the blind, and that's Steve Folks who's tackled right around the bootlaces by Craig Connor. 5 tackles gone, and here's a turnover. First of the match. And Penrith stretching the ball on the first tackle, and Mullane came up probably too quickly then, and he really didn't give himself a chance to tackle Robinson. No sweat, because they've knocked on Penrith anyway, and a scrum is to pack, and another touch judge has gone in.
It was just as well Mullane did move up quickly, because Penrith had extras on that left-hand side of the field, and only Mullane's quick reactions in defence really turned Robinson back inside.
Ross Conlon going across for a caution. Ross, the number 5 for Canterbury. School teacher at Catherine Macaulay Girls' School at Westmead. Here's Roscoe. Canterbury scrum win. Terry Lamb in a good contest out there with Robinson. Quite a duel. This is Batiste. Penrith player is injured as a result of going for a head-on tackle. Lamb. Oh, Izzard came up and left his man. It's gone to Mullane and then to Potter. And Potter's tackled about 10 metres into Penrith area. It's Craig Connor who's down injured in the back play for the Panthers. 32 metres out from the Penrith line. With Steve Mortimer, and knocked down by Penrith. This will be 6 more if Robinson picks it up. And it's a Penrith ball now, so there'll be a knock-on. He's got to take it back. He's got to take it back to where the knock-on took place. And again, the referee is spot on, as the scrum's packed in the middle of the ground, about 30 metres away from the Penrith line. And Mortimer tried to put on a move with Langmack, and that's against the marker for interfering with the man playing the ball. And so this is a pretty simple one for Ross Conlon coming up. He's right in front. Did he rule differential? So in fact he was ruling back on the scrum. Well, I can't quite work that out.
It's a differential penalty if the back line's offside.
No, I'm not talking about that. He indicated. Peter Mortimer! Peter Mortimer has gone in with a really determined run. Right out there in that far corner. He came up and hit it, and there was just nothing that was going to stop Peter Mortimer scoring this try. He got a good ball from Greg Mullane. Peter Tunks did his job, but Peter absolutely was going to score that try. In his mind, it was there and firmly fixed.
Well as giving credit to the players, let's give some credit to the coach. That was a well-designed blindside tap play, and here we can see Peter Mortimer crashing over in the corner.
Peter Mortimer, who played a very big part in the try that Terry Lamb scored, now picks up one himself. 14-6 in favour of Canterbury. 3 from 3 for Ross Conlon. This time he's out on the touchline. No, I'm sorry, on that other point, I thought he gave the penalty for the marker holding onto the man playing the ball. That's why I couldn't work out how you were saying it was a differential penalty. Royce Simmons trying to gee his players up. Conlon. Gee, it's a good-looking kick. He's got it. He's got it from the sideline. Tremendous kick by Conlon. 16-6 in favour of his team. Johnston. 6 more. Batiste now.
We're seeing examples here of how Canterbury Bankstown are able to get a good roll on. They play the ball so quickly in their forward hit-ups, and that keeps the defence well back and unable to move up quickly.
Beautiful ball by Mortimer to Langmack to Lamb, and now it's with Tunks. Can he pass? He's tackled 20 metres out.
And that break is a result of the earlier quick play the balls in succession.
Mortimer, blindside to Johnston, now with Langmack. Langmack gets a one-hander back in, but it's gone to ground. And a penalty to Canterbury. Penalty to Canterbury. He's got Penrith for being inside the 5. So Conlon is getting plenty of goal-kicking practice. And this one is directly opposite the great goal that he kicked just a few minutes back to convert the Peter Mortimer try. A few metres in from touch. "21 metres out. Here he comes. Bang. And I'll be blowed. He's missed it. Well, I'll be. Ross Conlon missing the goal. But Canterbury Bankstown goes to the break, leading by 16 points to 6. And we truly have seen some brilliant football from them during that first 40 minutes. We expect to see more, of course, after this break. Welcome back to the second half of the NEC big game. First half tries. Just a little bit of controversy over this one. It was scored by Gary Howell, and given there was some question as to whether it was knocked on by the dummy half. But that was the try that took Penrith to the lead, but it wasn't to be a lead that they were to hang on to for very long, because then there was a bit of Terry Lamb magic coupled with Michael Potter's brilliance and also Peter Mortimer. This is Potter running free, a move that started back inside his own 22. Alexander came across in cover. Peter Mortimer took the play down inside the 22 line. He turned the ball back for Terry Lamb, and the Canterbury captain was in for his 14th try of the year. And so the Bulldogs were starting to look very good. And then they put on this tap play. Peter Tunks spun, gave it to Greg Mullane, and then Peter Mortimer, he was determined to score, and that's exactly what he did in the 37th minute. So the score 16-6 in favour of Canterbury, and they've made one change here for the second half. Gillespie is on in jumper number 17. He's taken the place of Jeff Robinson, David Gillespie. As Ross Conlon kicks off now to start the second half, and it's Mark Levy who brings it out to the 22 line. Oh, Craig Connor tried to get a pass away, and it went to the wrong receiver, but eventually a knock-on happened against Canterbury.
Penrith's undoing in the first half was they just couldn't hold the ball for 6 tackles, and there we see an example of them again from the opening minutes, opening seconds of this second half, where they've pushed a pass in their own quarter that wasn't necessary. You can't do that against a team such as Canterbury.
Don't get carried away with that scrum count to Canterbury. They've had the feed on all of those occasions that they've won those 7 scrums. It's gone with the feed, in fact, the scrum count today. Simmons. Good pass by Mark Levy. Ross Gigg goes over the halfway, and he may have passed that ball a little bit early. It's come across from Alexander, and it's with Simmons. This is Goodwin, good football, but that's got to be a penalty to Penrith. It is. Good refereeing by McCallum. He caught the Canterbury player who actually pulled Fenton out of the play. See it again. There's Fenton. The ball was in flight, sure, from Goodwin to him, but he was taken out of it before the ball reached him. And Greg Mullane was the culprit. Levy, oh, he's made a complete mess of it. It's gone very wide of the uprights, and Conlon brings it out about 15 metres from the Canterbury goal line. I'm not wanting to knock Mark Levy's goal kicking at this point in time, but by Jove, you're seeing a perfect example of how valuable a good kicker is in this game of rugby league. Gillespie. He was prepared to crawl along the ground. Tunks. Crash. Goodwin making the tackle together with Connor. 5 tackles gone, and it's away with Lamb, and Lamb kicks, and getting over there is Levy, and he'll take his wing 3/4. Gonzalez with him. Levy getting rid of one and takes the tackle just out about 15 metres from his line. Is Gonzalez now. Canterbury defence, apart from that one blemish, or maybe twice, they've actually been punctured by the Penrith attack, but for the most part it's been very solid. This is Gary Howell, who did score the try for Penrith. He's put it down, and getting away with it is Langmack. So Canterbury in a very strong attacking position now. They're right in the centre of the ground. It's out to Folks and now to Batiste. Stands in the tackle back to Johnston. He spreads it back to Potter. Potter takes the tackle and is held 15 metres out from the line. Played back to Steve Mortimer. Off he goes from dummy half, but he's run into some traffic there. And he's 10 metres out from the line now, Steve Mortimer. Playing it back to Billy Johnston, who gets across the ground, picks up Paul Langmack. He's 5 metres out from the line. 4 tackles gone for Canterbury as it comes across to Tunks. Tunks stands, looks to unload, but he's taken over the top. Brad Moore came over the top and put him down. And this is the last tackle now for Canterbury, Bankstown. Out to Steve Mortimer. He kicks a little one over the top of the 3/4, but Gonzalez has got it covered up nicely, and there'll be a line dropout. And Alexander takes the drop kick. It's a good kick too, coming down on the halfway line, and this is Peter Mortimer, who's taking it back. Very strong runner of the ball is Peter Mortimer. In fact, he and Chris, they've got a similar gait and pretty hard to tackle. Gillespie. Steve Mortimer. Lamb. Long ball out to Mullane, and there's Chris Mortimer. Now Michael Potter. Infield pass to Chris Mortimer. There's Terry Lamb. Now here's Steve Mortimer. He passes. Picked up on the volley by Stephen Folks. And they're 11 metres out from the line now, Canterbury, and they're really making the ball do the work as it goes over to Peter Tunks. And he flicks it out the back to Langmack. Langmack sweeps it across to Gillespie. And Gillespie is to play the ball. About 18 metres out from the Penrith line. This is Batiste. Turns a pass, one-handed inside to Conlon. It's gone across to Gillespie. He turns it to Johnston. Now it's with Steve Folks again. Folks goes to the 10-metre line, and 5 tackles are gone. They may run the ball here. Now he's decided to bomb again, Mortimer. And another test here. Oh, it's hit the upright and bounced back, and Brad Izzard's got the ball. Levy takes it out. Simmons. 16-6 in favour of Canterbury. Levy getting it out from inside his own quarter and finding the line. About 5 metres on the Penrith side of halfway. Langmack getting through some fragile defence. Now he kicks ahead. That'll go over the dead ball line. So it'll come out to the 22 for a place kick restart. Well, Langmack seemed to have the opportunity to pick up Terry Lamb or Steve Mortimer. He elected to keep the ball and then kicked it. And that was the result. Play on the 22 line. Penrith into the field. Brad Moore, a handoff to Robinson. Picked up in defence by Terry Lamb. This man is Roy Simmons, who's tried his heart out today. He's really worked hard, both as a dummy half man hooker and captain. Levy's kick will probably find touch. Yes, he's found touch. A good kick by Mark Levy. I thought for a moment Potter might have got to it. 35 metres out from the Canterbury line, the scrum will go down. You're watching the NEC big game from Penrith Park with the scoreline Canterbury 16, Penrith 6. Penrith getting the penalty. He's called Billy Johnston out. And now he's put two fingers up and said, that's the second time I've got you for feet across. And he's probably saying, I'll put you in the sin bin if you don't correct it.
I don't know that hookers or halfbacks do all that much differently. Sometimes you get caught and sometimes you don't.
Levy finding the line. Through Alexander, it's out to Simmons. He shows it once and gives it the second time to Goodwin. Craig Connor. But Penrith are trying to crack the Canterbury defence with what I call brute strength. Goodwin standing and offloading to Simmons. Simmons swarmed over by the Canterbury defence.
The fact they scored that try around the ruck in the first half with a crisscross move could have been the worst thing that happened to them, because they've tried that same sort of tactics for the rest of the match.
There's very little variation in what they're doing at the moment, Penrith. Here's Howe, and he's tackled about 9 metres out from the line. 5 tackles gone. It's out with Alexander. And Alexander's bomb, a bit of pressure for Potter, and by Jove, it's a try! It's a try scored by Robinson. Steve Robinson scoring the try. Alexander put up the bomb. It was a beautiful kick, and I was telling you about these two lads, how close they've been right through their football career. They were born on the same day. They're playing alongside of each other for only the second time in a long, long time. And the bomb from Greg, and Steve picks up the try, and they'll celebrate this one tonight, win, lose or draw. So that was the try that Penrith so badly wanted. Here's Levy. Oh, he's hit the upright and missed it. Well, I was talking about goal kicking to you earlier. 16-10, Canterbury leading Penrith. Conlon.
You mentioned the importance of goal kicking, Ray, and it's playing a feature in this match, because looking at the scoreboard, it's 2 tries apiece, and the real difference has been that trusty right boot of Ross Conlon.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what I was alluding to. Brad Moore,
Who didn't expect to get that one.
I was just going to say that. I think he finished up with a football in his hands, and he really didn't expect it.
I still think Penrith can open this game up a lot more. Canterbury have got some good defence in their forwards. Their best performers today have been Batiste and Langmack, and I'd still be inclined, if I was Tim Sheens, to be moving the ball out wide.
That was a big kick by Brad Izzard. Michael Potter, the Canterbury fullback, tackled now about 10 metres on his side of the halfway. Running it is Greg Mullane, but he's getting across the ground, so you might as well let him run for a while. He's been cut down now, though. He's played quite strongly, Greg Mullane, by the same token. This is Steve Mortimer. I'm just waiting for him to decide and go. He really hasn't gone today, Steve. He's done a lot of ball passing, but I reckon it's not too far away, the point in time when Steve Mortimer decides, I'll go myself.
The player I've been impressed with has been Paul Langmack, the lock forward for Canterbury. He's made a number of breaks on his own. He's also been able to offload the ball to supports.
Alexander, Robinson. It's a good tackle by Chris Mortimer. He parcelled him up, ball and all. Levy, back to Alexander. Long pass out to Gig. And Gigg is tackled there by Peter Mortimer and Greg Mullane.
You were talking about when is Steve Mortimer going to run, and conversely, the Penrith spectators would be wondering when's Greg Alexander going to run, because they're very similar players, the two halves.
Gary Howell has gone straight up the middle, and who was waiting for him in cover? Steve Mortimer. Took him head on. There's a knock on at the dummy half. Well, the referee has seen this one, but I feel that it was a very similar. Have a look at it. Have a look at it. Very similar to what happened when we saw a try scored earlier on today. Good heel by Penrith. Alexander goes open, gives it to Robinson. Mullane's got him. He was crying for support, Robinson. But the fullback had come up on the blind side. This is Izzard now, 35 metres out. Penrith, stretch to the left. Levy, lob. They're not really pushing the ball to the extremities of the field. I'm sure that's what Bill would like to see them do. Here it is coming out now, and Gigg is tackled by Mullane and Peter Mortimer.
You can see the Canterbury defence is really bunched. It's almost all on this side of the goalpost, and if Penrith could just spread their attack a little wider, I'm sure they'd have a greater chance of breaking the Canterbury defensive line.
So 5 tackles gone for Penrith. They're a fair way out to be bombing, but that's what they're doing. Mark has put the ball up very high. It's a great kick. Potter's put it down, and he's offside, Terry Lamb. It's a penalty right in front of the uprights for Penrith. So we've talked about Penrith not showing a great deal of variation, but they have got some very rich rewards out of the bombs they've put up in the last 5 minutes. I wonder what's going through Mark's mind at the moment. He knows full well that 1 out of 4 is not good enough, and it's the difference between being down by 6 and being level. And this is a simple one for him. Normally, he's got it. Well, that'll make him happy, because he'd be a very, very worried man out there coming in to take that very simple kick. 16-12 in favour of Canterbury. Well, the Panthers are coming back, Bill.
They are coming back. The game's still in touch, and all they need is a try to level the scores, and they've got it in them. But as I've said on many occasions during this game, and I don't want to labour the point, but I think they've got plenty of speed in their back line, and I'd like to see them use it. Izzard's hardly found himself in the match, and we know that he's a real game breaker and one of the best attacking centres in Sydney football.
That's Gonzalez. Let's hope that Penrith don't try and squeeze out that silly. Oh, they've done it again. I was just going to say it. I was going to say I hope they don't try and squeeze out that silly pass that they've been trying to get out inside their own 22, and they've done it again for the umpteenth time in the match, and this has put Canterbury right back on the attack, 10 metres out from the Penrith line.
Yeah, so maybe Canterbury will decide to kick that field goal to give themselves the extra 1-point cushion.
Steve Mortimer, he's lost it. Play on, says the referee. Peter Tunks, a one-handed pass over to Greg Mullane, and Ross Gigg is the tackler. They're still about 10 metres out from the line. Folks to Tunks now, and Tunks is tackled just inside the 10-metre line. Dummy half is Johnston. This is Steve Folkes, the number 9. Played back to Billy Johnston. Steve Mortimer, Terry Lamb. Ball to ground, picked up by Langmack. It's gone to Potter. Now it's with Conlon. Conlon's come from his wing. He's tackled 10 metres out from the line. Now it's with Batiste. Spins and gets it to Johnston. It's gone to Mortimer. Long ball out to Steve Folkes. Folkes goes back into the traffic. 5 tackles gone now for the Canterbury side. And it's the bomb from Steve Mortimer. Pressure here for Mark Levy. It's gone over the dead ball line. Off whose hand? He's given a penalty anyway. He's given a penalty to Penrith. Penalty to Penrith. He's ruled that the Canterbury players in front of the kicker came inside the 5. Levy's kicker's found touch about 30 metres out.
war. Goodwin. Simmons. Good pass. Gary Howe. He's found Gonzalez. Oh, he's still going. He's beaten the fullback. Peter Mortimer. He's over. It's a try. Gonzalez has levelled the score, and the fans have gone absolutely berserk with excitement. Gonzalez the try. Oh, you should see them in front of our broadcasting box. They are betting and dancing in the streets here at Penrith Park at the moment. Beautiful ball from Simmons to Howe. Howe to Gonzalez. He beat Potter, and then he was able to fend off Peter Mortimer. It was a good try.
It was a great try. Firstly, a good pass by Simmons to Howell, who was able to get his hands up and got a pass away to Gonzalez. Here I thought Gonzalez had done the wrong thing because he had support inside, but notice he didn't pass, but he transferred the ball to his left hand. This gave him the right arm to fend. He was able to shrug off 2 tackles, firstly by Potter, secondly by Mortimer, to score a great try for the Panthers.
It sure was a great try, and it was well done, Ben Gonzalez. Hits it. He's missed it. Just to the left of the uprights. 16 all. Penrith and Canterbury. We've got ourselves a game of football still. Craig Connor with his head heavily bandaged. And here's Goodwin popping it off to Brett Lobb. Lobb 32 metres out. Replacements getting ready to come on. The crowd is roaring. They claim that Canterbury are offside out wide. The kick for touch has found it. Everything's going right for Penrith at the moment.
You're not wrong. Everything is going right for Penrith. They had problems holding the ball and couldn't get possession in the first half. This half, they've won the penalty 6-1. And with that good supply of possession, they've been able to mount a lot of pressure. We're getting down to the last 10 minutes now, and that's field goal time.
Has been replaced by Daryl Broman. 16 on for Penrith. Craig Connor has come off. Greg Clements is the player that's gone on. Out to Lamb, across, and here's a good ball out to Potter, but Clements was there quickly to make the tackle. Chris Mortimer, big hit by the Penrith defence then on the Canterbury centre. Broman turns it into a vacant space. Well done, Ross Conlon. Running with it is Michael Potter, and he's tackled midway 22 halfway on his own end of the paddock. Has come across to Steve Mortimer. Gone on now to Paul Langmack. Hand off to Lamb. Passed out to Mullane. Izzard's got him and pulls him to ground.
I can't understand why either side would want to be rucking the ball at 16 all and 9 minutes to go. My tactics would be to kick the ball as quickly as possible down the other end of the field, wait for a mistake and kick a field goal.
Conlon's kick has been taken by Levy. Fair dinkum. This crowd, this Penrith crowd, they're cheering everything. If a player catches the ball, he gets a cheer. If he runs a metre, he gets a cheer.
And that's what
really
I was
giving them the encouragement they want.
That's what I was talking about. Canterbury Bankstown have finally kicked the ball downfield. They've come up with a Penrith mistake, and now they can work on a field goal.
Not from this far out they won't be, but that's what they'll be working for the next 4 or 5 tackles to get themselves closer. Here's Daryl Broman. Now it's Peter Tunch. Through a tackle. Inside the 32. Passes and finds Mortimer. Mortimer's tackled just outside the quarter-way line. He plays the ball. It's come across from Lamb. It's gone on to Langmack. Short. Oh, well, he held that ball back and then he got crunched by Matt Goodwin. Played again. Broman turns it inside. Johnston. It's gone to Steve Folkes. Folkes has gone inside the 22. Terry Lamb. Lamb has scored his second try. Terry Lamb, the master of backing up. He scores his 15th try for the year. And he's injured. Daryl Broman turned this ball inside to Billy Johnston. Steve Folkes got away from Matt Goodwin's tackle.
He galloped inside Clements and Alexander, drew the fullback, passed to Terry Lamb, and the 5/8 was in for his second try of the day.
Folks got through some fairly feeble defence to put the try on. You'll see it coming up here where he shrugs off a tackle that's too high, but I thought he positioned his supports very well here, folks. Ran away from Greg Alexander, drew Levy the fullback, passed inside to Lamb, and over goes Terry Lamb.
Hobbling on that ankle. And this is the kick for Conlon, right in front. So Canterbury back in front at 20 points to 16. Warren Fenton is off for Penrith. And so too is Ross Gigg off. (15 and 17 have gone on for Penrith. There's the scoreline, 22 to 16 now in favour of Canterbury.
Oh, the restart. The ball's been taken by Gonzalez. Gonzalez, he's still going. He's about a metre from the line. Heavens above. Can they score here, Penrith? Up from dummy half goes Robinson. He's tackled about a half a metre out. They must push the ball to the right. Alexander's burrowed through. He scored, I think. No, yes, it's a try. Well, I wouldn't have believed Canterbury would come into that one.
They did it on Wednesday night, Canterbury Bankstown, and they've done it again today. A game they had parcelled up. They just relaxed in concentration, allowed Penrith to get the ball back from the kick-off, and then mount some pressure with 2 and 3 consecutive play-the balls. And it was up to Greg Alexander, the young halfback, who forces his way over amongst a flurry of Canterbury Bankstown defenders to score that match-levelling try.
It was a try, all right. No risk in the world. The head-on shot showed that conclusively. It was a try for Greg Alexander. Boy, now...
Well, he's got to kick this goal, and none of them are easy, particularly under these circumstances.
Oh, Gonzalez. You wouldn't get a sweeter... You wouldn't have got a sweeter recommencement to a match ever. And I thought Gonzalez was going to do it all himself. He beat Michael Potter again. Potter will go home and have a nightmare about Gonzalez. He beat him again there, as the replay showed. I didn't see it when it first happened. But Mark Levy's got this kick to level, and we're inside the last 5. Well and truly, he's missed it. Oh, my goodness, how could you do it? How could you do it? From so close, Mark Levy's hit the upright and missed. Well, what a shame. What a shame. Goal kicking right through the match was the difference in the scoreline, and it would seem that it is going to be the rock that Penrith perished on here at Penrith Park this afternoon. Well, I feel sorry for Mark Levy, because there wouldn't be too many nicer blokes in the game, let me tell you. I feel so sorry for him. Ross Conlon doesn't, I suppose, as he kicks off and sends it down to Greg Alexander. Brett Lobb comes out with it. Terry Lamb is off. Hagan is on for Canterbury. Tim Sheens has sent replacement upon replacement out for Penrith. I don't think I've had a chance to tell you they're on the field yet. There's been so much happening. Jeff Hay is on, Mick Kelly is on, and Wayne Elvin is on. They're all out there in the fresh jumpers. Levy's kick in general play. Potter has it covered. Back goes Potter. And he's tackled on the halfway line. Steve Mortimer. Hagan now. Tunks. Well, what a match. What an almighty fight this has been. 22 to 20 in favour of Canterbury.
Penrith, they can feel rather as though they've been done a disservice. Probably they should have come out of this with 1 point.
Well, I even called it a match-levelling try, assuming that he was going to make the conversion, Mark Levy, but unfortunately for Penrith, it just wasn't to be.
Steve Mortimer finding the line. And this is all taking up time now. Canterbury entitled to play slow football. Penalty to Canterbury. Incorrect feed. Chris Mortimer taking the line finder. Well, one thing's for sure, the Penrith people who've come to the match today, they'll go home disappointed. I guarantee you that, but I'm sure that they would be quite proud of the Penrith team's performance against the Premiership front runners. Further emphasis that things are pretty healthy out here. Mortimer goes from dummy half. 2 metres out from the line. Izzard and Levy make the tackle. Getting very close to full time. Peter Tunks goes for a charge at the line. 5 tackles gone now for Canterbury. Steve Mortimer to dummy half. He may go himself. He's passed to the blind and picked up Folkes. And Folkes is tackled. That's the turnover. So Penrith's coming up with the ball, but they're inside their own goal line. And that's Simmons, who's worked it out about 5 metres from the Penrith line. One of the replacements having a run with it. And it's gone to Levy. He kicks over the top. Peter Mortimer falls back for it, takes it safely. And he fends off a Penrith attempted tackle before being grounded in the middle of the oval. It's all over. There it is, the end of a really exciting game of football. Canterbury led 16-6 at half-time. Penrith clawed their way back to 16 all, and then were down by 22-16. Then the try by Alexander saw 22-20, and Mark Levy then missed a very, very simple shot at goal, which I'm sure Mark will remember for a long time to come. But at the bottom of your screen is the storyline. Levy 2 goals, Conlon 5. Canterbury scored 3 tries, 2 by Terry Lamb, 1 by Peter Mortimer. Penrith scored 4 tries, Howell, Robinson, Gonzalez and Alexander. But 2 goals opposed to 5 is your difference. Canterbury 22, Penrith 20. A really exciting game of rugby league. I'm sure the fans have really got their money's worth, and we'll be rewarding the man of the match in just a moment.